In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to get high-ticket clients using Facebook ads for a high-ticket service. It could be a traditional, what some would say, boring business like immigration, cybersecurity. No matter what type of online service business you have, this video will explain exactly how to land high-ticket clients consistently using Facebook ads. So let's dive right in. So the first thing we want to put together is the foundation. So why most service providers fail with Facebook ads? Because I see so much in the industry, people saying my agency, my type of business wouldn't work with Facebook ads. So then they just default to using word of mouth, referrals, very old school tactics, very inconsistent tactics. And then they wonder why someone with less expertise and with less experience outperforms them with ads and outperforms them with their business overall. So let's explain exactly how this works. So the first reason why most people fail with Facebook ads as a high ticket service is first of all the ticket price. So what most people do with a service business is they're going to charge $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, like just a typical flat retainer. And the problem with why that doesn't work with ads is because you need to be profitable right away. You need to be profitable right away in order to be able to scale ads. You don't have the cash reserves necessarily to just spend and wait 3 or 4 months to make money, right? So if you need to make money, you need to be profitable from day 1 or day 7, then you need to redo your pricing structure. Now, the reason why is that most customer acquisition costs online are around like $2,500, $3,000, $3,500. That's the typical range I've seen with service businesses through ads. And the problem with that is if you're charging $3,000, you need 2 clients just to pretty much break even. Because if you factor in costs of goods sold and how much it costs you to actually deliver your service after this price point, well, you're not ever going to be profitable from ads day 1. You're going to have to wait 60, 90 days just to get a 2-3x ROI on your money. So the result is you break even or you even lose money. And that's why most service providers cannot crack Facebook ads, right? So here's what you need to first of all do in order to get Facebook ads working for your service. What you need to do is you need to redo your pricing structure. So how I like to do it is I'll do anywhere from like 8,000 to 15,000, but I'll do it in a 3-month upfront cycle. That way you collect more cash upfront, so you're more profitable day 1 from any deals you close. And what it also means is that clients are going to be more loyal to your business, because assuming your service is good, they're going to stay with you for the duration of those 3 months, and they're more likely, just because they're going to be more committed and consistent working with you, to stay on after those 3 months as well. So at this point, if your customer acquisition costs are $2,500, you only need 1 client to be ultra profitable. You have to think about it, like if you, for example, charge $8,000 on the low end, you're going to be $5,500 in the profit just from signing 1 client, okay? So for example, we have like an immigration client and he has a $10,000 price point, and we spent $2,000 on ads and we did over $150,000 in contracted revenue. If we were charging $3,000 on this price point, we would have done nowhere near. We would have done not even close. We would have done about 40,000, right? Which still would be great off of $2,000. Don't get me wrong. It was an insane result. But with the average cost per acquisition for any industry, you've got to have that higher ticket price point. And the easiest way I found to do that is simply just charge upfront for 3 to 4 months. There's likelihood that you have during those 3 to 4 months anyway a start and a finish, meaning that if a client comes in with you, they need to have a few months working with you to see the impact and see the results anyway. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice by only doing 1-month contracts. So start doing longer term contracts, guarantee you'll see a big result. And why the higher prices win is you're going to have better quality clients, you can have more resources to reinvest back into ads. Remember with this, you're working with $5,500 in profit as opposed to before like a measly $1,000. You have more bandwidth to reinvest back into ads and get more and more clients and build up your client acquisition system, right? You're going to have better results for delivery, stronger market position. The reason why you have stronger market position is because you'll be able to spend more on ads. You'll actually be able to spend more than your competitors. So more of your customers or more of your prospects are going to see your ads more, and you're going to become a bigger authority figure in your industry. And then it gives you room for like proper follow-ups. You can reinvest in tools and like softwares to have better follow-ups and have a better sales system. Okay, so that's part 1. If you ignore this part, the rest of this video does not work. You've got to get part 1 correct. Okay, so let's go into part 2. Part 2 is the execution. So the execution of how to actually build a funnel, how to build a system to convert people who see your ads into sales calls simply comes down to the video sales letter. And the video sales letter is something like this. This is for myself, and I have this call out, and then I have a video sales letter that goes directly into like my expertise. And I do have a website, but I direct traffic from ads straight to this, with a video sales letter. Now, the reason why, as a traditional business, if you're doing, you're in an old school service business, or even if you're running like a marketing agency, you need a video sales letter. The reason why is that most service providers try to sell directly from the ad to a call, leading to like unqualified leads, wasted time. So they miss the VSL part. They just try to sell in the ads, right? I'll get onto that later in this video why that's a big mistake. And basically what a VSL does is it pre-qualifies the prospects so they come warm and ready to buy. It is almost like not needing a sales team as much, because the reason why is you have a VSL that does 50% of the selling for your product or service before they even come to the sales call, which means if you have a sales team or if you're taking the sales calls as a founder, you're going to have more layups, you're going to have better quality prospects on the phone because they committed to watching your VSL. So it's almost like a sales asset. It's a salesperson that works for you 24/7 around the clock. And like I said, it does 50% of the selling before you. It's going to increase show up rates and close rates because you're going to have more layups on the phone. And also people who watch a VSL, if they like what they see and they book a call, they're going to be more inclined to actually show up because they know what you do and they know who you are, right? And that allows you to be able to scale, be able to consistently book calls and have better quality sales calls without needing like the highest level sales talent on the calls. So it's your best salesperson working around the clock for you 24/7. Now with a VSL, I've spoken about this in a few other videos, but with a VSL, I follow a very simple framework. So I follow hook, problem agitation, solution presentation, proof elements, and call to action. Now the hook is the first 30 seconds. So essentially what you do is you call out your market. So for me, I go after coaches, consultants, agencies, and services, typically doing above about 25 to 30 grand a month. If you had some sort of immigration company, you're going to go after maybe a specific demographic who want to move to the US. If you have another marketing agency, you might have a revenue basis of a client you need. Whatever industry you do, whatever your target market is, call them out. Say who you want, who is a qualified lead to you, right? Because that catches their attention. And if they are that person, they're going to watch the full video. If they're not that person, they're going to leave because they're going to be repelled by the video, right? Which is good. So first hook, you call out specific problem and you're going to provide us a unique solution. So unique solution is essentially how you do things differently. So for us, we help our clients get more qualified sales calls. And we do that for our AI qualified appointment generators, essentially what we install into that ads to help that ads target better and get more qualified sales calls. That's not a solution that many people in the market, if any, are actually providing. So just through this, what I would call a unique mechanism, we stand out, and this is what gets people to pay attention to us because we're different. We provide something different to what's common in the marketplace. And then a clear outcome. So you need something that provides a clear outcome to what people are going to get from working with you. The next thing is agitating that problem. So you agitate the specific problem that you mentioned in the first part of the video, and you can just see that right now. I'm not going to go through it all, but you can see how it's structured. The solution presentation is the same thing, the unique approach, the key differences, the implementation overview, and expected outcomes from your unique mechanism. I cannot say how important having a unique mechanism is, because especially if you're in a sophisticated market where you have competition, and if the competition is also running ads, you need to be able to stand out in a particular way. You need to be able to stand out in a way where people can't quantify you and can't categorize you with other businesses, because categorization is the killer of all sales. So then also social proof, plenty of case studies, client results, industry validation that you have, and then a call to action where you just explain the next steps and you tell them essentially to book a call, right? You want to get them just to schedule a call. That is your only objective with this paid ad system for your service business, okay? Once you do that, you're going to have a qualification process. So let me just show you mine. What I do is to ensure that I have the right people booking calls, and I don't have a problem with unqualified people booking calls. What I'll do is I'll ask for name, email address, phone number, and that's just to obviously get the information to send get them to show up to the call. But then after that, I'm going to have a system where I essentially ask qualifying questions to see if they are the right fit to work with my service. So what I'll ask is, do you have a business that generates revenue online? If they say no, not the right fit, I'm going to redirect them to a downsell page. I'm going to redirect them to somewhere else, just they're not going to be able to book a call. But if they say yes, they can proceed. Same thing with, is your product or service delivered remotely? That's important to us because how we do marketing for businesses, for service businesses, is tailored towards businesses that do remote sales and also deliver their product or service remotely. what typical price point? Again, that's important to us because what we implement for clients, if they don't have the right price point in place, like we're not going to be able to help them scale, like even if we did everything in our power to help them. And then what is your business currently generating? That's important to us too, because any business below 25,000 a month, we can't help with because they haven't like had enough product market fit for us to be able to say we can help them. And basically what we do from there is we then will integrate, as long as they make it to the end of the calendar, we're going to integrate our calendar where they can literally just click and they can book a call with us with the same information they filled out. This is the most effective way I have found, and I've learned from other people, to schedule in a sales calls and pre-qualify and get sales calls booked on your calendar. So that's your pre-qualification form, and there's different ways you can pre-qualify. It really depends on your industry and the vertical of business that you're in. It's going to be business information, industry type, current revenue, if that's applicable. Like for example, with me, I'm in B2B, so other businesses' revenue is important to if I can help them or not. It could also be demographic, right, that the prospect is in. The next thing is like problem awareness. So what is like, you could ask what's their current approach? Find out in the form why is it not working for them. So that gives you more information so that when you go to the sales call, you will have that information on them. What do they want to get out of working with you? And for example, just an example of what could be a problem awareness, how much are they currently spending on marketing? Is it working? That's only obviously if you're in B2B. And then decision readiness. This is a way where you can actually extrapolate out how ready the prospect is to move forward and proceed working with you, right? So you don't want to get people who are just window shopping on sales calls. If they're coming to a sales call, they should be ready and willing to move forward at that time, right? And that's what you can ask. Like if they're looking to start in 6 months, they shouldn't be booking a sales call, right? Sales calls to move forward and proceed forward working together as with your service, right? And then we have part 3. So I've told you how to do the positioning, the economics to make your business work on paid, how to actually pre-qualify and set people up on sales calls with your funnel system. But now let's talk about the ads. So the ads is obviously super important to how you set up your campaign through Facebook for your service business. So how I would do this is the campaign setup is basic settings. So you're going to have objectives. It's going to be a lead generation campaign. Let me just show you right now live how I would do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to campaign. I'm going to select leads right here. I'm going to go continue, manual leads campaign, and then you can put in the name for your campaign. But the important thing is you select leads, right? Because you're trying to get leads for your business. Now, what I'll do is I'll go down and go select website. That's going to go to your funnel. And when I go to data set, you can select your pixel, maximize number of conversions. And what you really want to do, let me show you right here, is you want to select the conversion event to be scheduled, right? It's because you're trying to get scheduled sales calls with prospects. So what that means is that when someone schedules a sales call with you, that information is going to fire back to Facebook, and they're going to be it's basically going to help you identify who's a qualified lead and who isn't a qualified lead. Because if they're not a qualified lead, they're not going to be able to book a call because we had the form that pre-qualifies them before. But if they're able to book a call, that means they are most likely qualified. So then it's going to send that information back to Facebook, and it's going to target more qualified people that you want. And it's just like a flywheel. You just get more and more and more qualified people scheduling sales calls. Placements, Facebook and Instagram feed, and then location, what I personally do, unless you have a specific country or location that you serve, I would always just do US, Canada, and UK. Those 3 places, right? And then the ad creative framework, let's talk about how to actually create a winning ad. I've got plenty in this campaign of mine, and inside of my ad account, I have a very specific way of creating winning ads. So I use and just to kind of like preempt this, like it's super important to remember that the ad you're creating, the goal of it is just to essentially create a hook point. And it's a short ad, and all you're trying to do is capture attention and convert them onto the video sales letter back up here, right? You're not trying to sell in your ads. Your ad is simply to get attention for your business, and then the video sales letter is what sells them, right? So you have to think about that. You don't need to go very industry specific. A lot of people, when I consult businesses and I look at why are their ads not converting, it's always because they're trying to just like shill their expertise and everything they have in ads, their ads, right? Which is counterintuitive because you would think that that would actually be super successful. But what I found is that repels people, and all you need to do is get attention through your ad and sell the click. You need to sell the click because the average people's attention spans are super short. So the right people who see your ads are typically only going to stay on your ad for 15, 30 seconds before even clicking or continuing to scroll. So you need to have the right setup in place to sell the click. And that's why I always like having shorter ads that are just hook points that get people clicking through your ad and going to your video sales letter. So how I would do that is, first things first, I would create a hook, right? So you have a hook, you have a call out. Now, that's really just going to be, if you're in B2B, your headline, right? It's going to be your headline that's in your funnel. And you just call that out. You can say, hey, if you run a marketing agency above $50,000 a month, I will help you with X, Y, Z, get more qualified calls, whatever it may be. That's just an example of doing a call out. So you need to have a hook point, but then you also need to call out simultaneously the market. And the way you call them out is you call them out by who they are and where they are, right? So for example, if you're doing B2B and you want to call out a marketing agency, you notice how I said marketing agency doing above 50,000 a month, because Facebook is so smart that Facebook will actually target the ads towards those people that you actually want to attract. And then what you can do is briefly mention your solution, which again goes back to the unique mechanism. It goes back to your unique approach that you follow in your ads to convert someone from seeing your ad to clicking through and going on your landing page. And then call to action. So I always say my call to actions, schedule a sales call, because then that's going to preempt them to click, watch the video, and schedule a sales call with you. So remember, with your ads, like keep them between 15 to 30 seconds because you're selling the click, not the service. So let's get on to how to actually track performance. So I've shown you how to create a video sales letter, create an ad, have a system where you have the unit economics in place so that you have the right price point and you can convert people through. Let's talk about how to actually track your success, right? Because these are the key metrics and the key constraints that I use to monitor and see where I want to go with the business. So I'm going to show you one of our calculators of how we do this right now. So right here, say for example, I use a lot of data to track and basically reverse engineer where I want to go with the business. So say with my business, I want to get to 100,000 a month, and let's say my price point, just for ease of math, let's say it's $10,000, and let's say that on average, I found that's going to cost anywhere from $300 to book a scheduled sales call. The show-up rate is going to be about 60%, and then on the lower side, let's say that your close rate is 25, for example. So then what I'll do is I'm going to reverse engineer from there, we're using this calculator, how to get to where I want to go, which is 100 grand a month, which means that if my price point's 10,000, I'm going to need 10 sales, right? When I say target monthly revenue too, I mean just signing clients who have that contracted revenue for your business. So I would need 10 sales at 25% close rate. I'm going to need 40 sales calls. I'm going to need 67 book calls because of the show up rate. And then the monthly ad spend at the $300 cost per call will be $20,000. So basically to make $100,000 back in revenue, I'm going to need to spend $20,000 on ads, right? And then that's my daily ad spend. And that gives you a great insight to the metrics you need to scale. Like for example, the financial metrics, your customer acquisition cost is going to be $2,000, which I was talking about earlier, is the kind of average you want to go to. This is really on the low end. The profit you get per sale, and then your total monthly profit, which gives you your ROAS through ads. So this really gives a great insight into the metrics you need to scale. Now, what are the metrics, just to confirm? Well, it's going to be obviously ad performance. So cost per lead, a way to track the quality of leads. So I like to, with all the leads come through, rank them on green, amber, and red, where you essentially just monitor, okay, this person's green, exactly my target audience. This person's yellow, they're kind of like middle of market, I could help them, but I'm going to need to pre-qualify them. And then red, disqualified. So every single prospect, you just rank green, amber, red. And then that can help you give your average score and the percentage of greens that you get. The show up rate, and then obviously the conversion rate, which is just the close rate that you get on calls. And then the conversion rate, which is like, how many people do you get from lead on this sales page to booking a call, right? So what percentage? I usually go for anything around 15 to 20%. That's my goal to get to, like people who are at this on this page, book a sales call, around that much I found to be really effective. And then economics tracking. So what is your customer acquisition cost? Because that's important. If you know your lifetime value with your service, say it's like $20,000, $30,000, and your customer acquisition cost is $2,000, $3,000, well, that means that basically customer acquisition cost makes up 10% of what your total lifetime value of a customer is, which I know that's what investors would look at. If you have investors and you want to sell your service business, they're going to be looking at things like that. That's very important to them. So having the 10% basically CAC, customer acquisition cost, to lifetime value is very important. And then overall campaign ROI, which is simply essentially ROAS, and then ROI per client is the profit per sale, right, up front. So this gives you a good insight into how to actually scale when to optimize, which I'm going to show you right now. So what I like to do is I want to scale when my customer acquisition costs are basically below 50% of my price point. Keep in mind that the monthly revenue, you might not collect all of this up front. You might collect about 50, 60% because sometimes some of your ideal clients are going to need payment plans, right? So what I do is I like to aggressively scale ads. And if my customer acquisition costs are below 50% of my price point, but I know that price point being say $10,000 is going to turn into $30,000 across the next 8 months, I'm going to scale that ad because I know that customers will be worth a lot more to me than they are right now in the future. So I have to be proactive and scale up my ad spend like sooner rather than later. If show up rates above 60%, close rates above 20%, and your ROAS is above 2x, that's also some things like criteria I look for when scaling up my ad account. Keep in mind there's no written rule when to do this, but these are some of just points that give you a good insight into, okay, what are my theory of constraints, which are the different data points I have in my sales process up to my service. When should I scale? When should I not scale? And when to not scale is basically your CAC makes up more than 50% of your price point. So you're spending, $4,000 for a client and you're charging $6,000. That's like, it doesn't give you much profit at the end, right? So you're going to need to either raise your price point further or figure out how to decrease your CAC, which is doing everything I said above with having better ads, better VSL, a good sales process, and also maybe even your close rate. Like your close rate wants to be minimum 20% on paid ads, so keep it at that, right? Again, yeah, if your close rate's below 15%, your show up rate's below 50%, and you're not at least 2xing your money or price point, just due to most people like watching this, your service, like people like us, like if you're trying to scale up your ads, you might not have, a ton of cash reserves to wait 3 to 4 months to make money. You might need to be profitable today. Like once you start to scale, you can start to think more longer term. That's what we've got with the company. But maybe when you're starting edge, you might need to be profitable day one, right? Now, just a quick point on that. When you can get to a point where you don't have to make money day one on each client you can sign, that's when you become ultra profitable as a company. But for the time being, you probably need to make money back ASAP. So this is exactly how you do that. So let's summarize the key success factors of how to actually be successful at ads. So it was clear positioning. So how do you stand out essentially from the rest of your market? What is your unique way of doing things in your market, right? And then having clear ads that sell the click and a VSL, which we'll get onto in a moment, that basically sells your service. Strong economics. So remember, your price point, you want to be ideally at least $8,000 because with the average customer acquisition cost being $2,000 to $3,000, it needs to be higher than 8 just for you to be able to make enough substantial amount of profit early from ads and not have to wait months to make money. Effective qualification. So how do you qualify prospects up to your sales school, which is using that Typeform process I spoke about. And then the professional VSL following the structure above in this video before that I spoke about. Okay, so let's talk about the implementation checklist. So these are just the things to implement before launching ads for your service business, right, on Facebook. So your service needs to be priced at $8,000. We've already explained why. Your VSL to be your virtual salesman. If you want to know the process, go back to this video and look at the steps. I'll also drop this doc in the description so you can look at the exact process to effectively do that. Now, the qualification form needs to be set up with the calendar integrated. That's so you can pre-qualify prospects, and you can also use conditional logic where if someone's not qualified, they don't even get the option to book on your calendar. So you know your calendar from ads are getting filled up with qualified prospects. And then a tracking system in place, which I got this tracking system for my own business. This is a template, but essentially what this allows you to do is put in, see the overall of your business, how much you're collecting per offer, how much you're collecting per call, which tells you how effective you or your sales team are on the sales calls that you're getting. And also you can put in each rep's name. And then what you can add is you can add how many scheduled sales calls they had that day, how many were canceled, maybe they were unqualified, maybe they were irresponsive, how many were how many showed up to the sales call, how many offers did you make, and how many closes did you have. And that's going to give you automatically all of the information you need to know about what is your close rate, what is your show up rate overall. For example, if I go here and I say, okay, I had 5 scheduled sales calls, let's say that 2 canceled, and I had 3 that showed up, that's going to give me my insight into what my show up rate was. It's just 3 out of 5 essentially. And then overall show up rate was 60% with the cancellations. And let's say that I made 3 offers. I made an offer to every single person who was on the sales call. And let's say that I closed 1 person, right? My price point, let's say, was, $100,000 just for example, but I collected $50,000 up front, which means I collected 50% upfront cash collected. That will also give me my close rate because I'll be able to calculate across the month what my close rate is, and it will reflect up here with the amount of call closes and offers offer closes I had per month, and I can average out each month, each quarter, and each year. So I'll also drop this in the description so you can track all the sales team metrics that you're getting on sales calls from this Facebook ads lead generation system that I showed you how to use for your high ticket service business. So remember, the key to making Facebook ads work for a high ticket service is having the right economics first, and then simple but effective funnel that pre-qualifies and pre-sells prospects and then qualifies and converts them onto sales calls, and then that's how you can scale your high ticket service using Facebook ads. So I'll see you in the next video.